I had to call the police on the family that I worked for because they wouldn't let me leave. I've babysat part-time since I was a teenager, and I've never had a real issue until this family. They were new to town, and through word of mouth, they found me, reached out to me, and asked if I could watch their kids. I end up going over to their house the next day. We do a little informal interview. I meet the kids, I meet the parents, and they seem very lovely, okay? Looks can be deceiving. And they asked me if I could babysit that Saturday from 2 to 7 p.m., which was fine. But I made very clear that I needed to leave by 7 because I had another babysitting job that was starting at 7:30. And I made it very clear how important it was that I was out of there by 7 because this second family that I was gonna be babysitting for, I'd babysit for a long time. And the husband was actually being recognized with an award for work. So he was going to this gala. Yeah, I needed to be there. I let them know. And the woman goes, no worries. Don't even worry about it. We will be home by 7. Honestly, maybe even 6:45. So the day of the babysitting gig comes and the kids are so sweet. Honestly, they were really easy to take care of. We were playing board games, eating pizza, watching movies, having a great time until about 6 p.m. rolls around. That's when I get a text from the mom that says, hey, we actually just ran into some friends when we were out at dinner, so we might be running a little late. My stomach drops because again, I had another family I needed to get to. So I text her, I'm like, hey, how much later? Because again, I have another job at 7:30 that I need to be at. And she responds, I don't know, like hard to say, but maybe around 1 or 2 a.m. I think she's joking. There's absolutely no way. So I haha the message. I'm like, no, but really, what time? She goes, no, I'm serious. Probably like 1 or 2. Like they're kind of rowdy friends. So I know they're going to keep us out pretty late. We haven't seen them in a while. And this is where the panic starts setting in. So I respond, you know, under different circumstances, I would be more than happy to stay later and watch your kids so you could have fun with your friends. But as I told you, I have another family whose kids I need to watch. So I do need to be out of here by 7. The mom just responds, no, you need to stay. No, please, nothing, just nope. Like it's not happening. So I respond, I can't stay. I need to go at 7. She just responds, well, it's not like you can just leave my kids alone. So unfortunately, it looks like the other family's just gonna have to make other arrangements. I just respond where I'm trying to still be nice and polite and patient at this point. I said, you know, we did say that our agreement ended at 7 p.m. So that's when I need to be out of here. She just responds, that's not my problem. What do you mean it's not your problem? It's involving your children. So actually, by definition, it's definitely your problem. And even though this woman is being ridiculous, I still, for the next 20-ish minutes, am trying to be polite. I'm offering to help find another babysitter to come over and watch them after 7. I'm offering to call relatives, neighbors, and she's just like, no, no, no. We interviewed you for this babysitting role. We want you watching the kids and you can't leave them. So, you know, too bad, so sad, basically. And at this point, I get a little less patient and a little more stern. I said, I'm just gonna be very blunt with you. You need to be here at 7 because I need to leave. There's another family that's waiting for me and I need to go take care of those kids. So be home at 7. She just responds, you're being so selfish. I'm sorry. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. I need to leave to go take care of another family's children. And you just want to go out and party with your friends. I realize that texting is getting me absolutely nowhere, so I decide that I need to call the mom. I call her, doesn't answer. I call her again, straight to voicemail. Then I get a text from her saying, stop calling, we're trying to enjoy our night. Great. So I decide to do the one thing that I always do when I don't know what to do. I call my mom and I said, Mom, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. And she said, yeah, you need to call the non-emergency police line because you gotta go and you can't leave these kids by themselves. So that's the only solution. So I called the second family that I'm supposed to be babysitting for. I explained to them the situation. They are so kind and understanding. They were like, you know, we were adjusting our timing for traffic. So we have a little bit of a buffer anyway. As long as you get here by 8, it's fine. So I was like, okay, perfect. Then I called the non-emergency police line. I tell the dispatcher on the phone, listen, I don't know if this is the right number to call. I just didn't really know what to do. And the dispatcher immediately took me so seriously because apparently trying to abandon your children with a babysitter for way longer than an agreed upon time is pretty serious business. So they were taking me very seriously. So at 7 o'clock, the time that the parents were supposed to be showing up, 2 police officers arrive. And I explained to them the situation and they just can't believe what I'm telling them, that parents would actually do this and try to pull this. So then the officers try calling the mom, and again, straight to voicemail because she was not picking up for anyone. And apparently, they leave her a voicemail because 5 minutes later, I get an all caps text, "You called the police, I can't believe you," just absolutely chewing me out. Like, what did you expect me to do? I tried to come up with a solution, and this was all I had left. The parents were actually only like 5-ish minutes away, so they get home very fast when they get the message from the police, and immediately, both of them look so angry. The dad looks at me and says, "I don't understand why you would call the police when you told my wife that it was no problem staying late." I looked at him, I said, "I'm sorry, what? Did you read the text messages I was sending?" Then he looks at his wife, and she just is not even making eye contact with him. Apparently, she told her husband, "Oh yeah, the babysitter said it was 100% fine to stay till 2 a.m. She has no issue with it whatsoever." And she was just lying to him. But she's still trying to act like she is in the right and fighting with me, saying, "Well, you made a commitment to watch my children, so you should have been here for as long as we needed you." I said, "I made a commitment to watch your children from 2 to 7. And this mom is just chewing me out. Finally, the officers stop her and say, "Ma'am, you're not in the right here. You just need to pay the girl for her time and let her go to her next babysitting job." And mom goes, "What do you mean pay her? She ruined our night. She didn't complete her obligations." The officer says, "She did. She was here from 2 to 7. Actually, now it's about 7:20, so you actually should be paying her for that time as well." I was like, this officer is the MVP right now. So very not happily, I did get paid. I honestly wasn't expecting that these parents were gonna pay me. I wasn't gonna even argue about it because I just wanted to get out of their house and never speak to those people ever again. But yeah, I did get paid. So that's great. Only from 2 to 7. I didn't get the extra money for like the extra time I had to be there. But you know what? I'm not complaining about that. And I did end up making it to my next babysitting appointment by 7:55. So it did work out. That couple was able to make it on time for their event. But yeah, it was a close call. One of the craziest parts is about a week later, the mom actually reached out to me and said that her kids loved me and they want to hire me to watch them again. Like, you're kidding, you're actually kidding. I blocked her number and I will not be babysitting for them again. But yeah, just make sure to vet really well who you're babysitting for.